But tell me, what is your life if you don't got Christ? Oh, you got a wonderful spouse. Oh, yeah, that's nice. A mansion with a great view. Oh, yeah, that's nice. You own several businesses. Oh, yeah, that's nice. But tell me, what is your life if you don't got Christ?
All praises to the Most High and His only begotten Son. I'm Brother Josiah here with the Watchman 144 congregation, and today's study is called The Woman in the Ephah. Let's get straight to it. Let's get Zechariah chapter 5, verse 5 through 8. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thy eyes, and see what is this that goes forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goes forth. He said, Moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sits in the midst of the ephah. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast away the lead upon the mouth thereof. What is a ephah? Let's go to the Strong's number H374 in the Brown's Drivers Briggs, and it says, Ephah, a dry measure of quantity equal to 3 seahs, 10 omers, the same as the liquid measure bath, about 9 imperial gallons, 40 liters. Rabbinical writings give sizes of 1/2 this amount, the receptacle for measuring or holding that amount. So what is an ephah? So an ephah, right, is a receptacle that holds certain measurements, right? So if you look at the picture on the screen, it's showing you the measuring chart of liquid measures and dry measures. And all these containers that you see are called ephahs. So this woman is being carried in a receptacle. What is a receptacle? Something that holds something, right? So the Bible says it's a woman that sits in the midst of the ephah. And he said, this is wickedness. Now we know this is not a literal woman, right? So when we look at the word wickedness, right? When it says this is wickedness, let's look at the Strong's number H7564 in the Brown's Drivers Briggs. And it says wickedness, guilt, wickedness in civil relations, wickedness of enemies, wickedness ethical and religious. This is a wicked religious system. And if we look at wickedness in the Webster Dictionary, it says departure from the rules of the divine law, evil disposition or practices, immorality, crime, sin, sinfulness, corrupt manners. Wickedness generally signifies evil practices. So wickedness is evil practices, right? Departing from the rules of the divine law. So this woman is a wicked religious system. But I'm going to let you know, this is not Mystery Babylon. This is speaking of a different harlot. This is speaking of somebody other than Mystery Babylon. So the Bible says there's a talent of lead on top of this ephah that this woman is in. So why is there a piece of lead on top? Because this lead is containing this woman inside the ephah. What is the Bible trying to tell us by saying that this woman is contained? This is a religious worship that the people on earth have never experienced or seen before. Well, how do we know that? Because this woman, which is represented for evil practice, she is trapped within this ephah. That's why there's a weight of lead on the mouth thereof. So we know that this woman is a wicked, evil, wicked religious practice, right? And we know this ephah is a container that's containing this woman. Let's get the next verse. Let's get Zechariah chapter 5, verse 9. Then lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings. For they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. So when we look into the Strong Concordance at this woman, right, which is H802, and it says the first form is the feminine of H376 and of H582. The second form is an irregular plural, a woman used in the same wise sense as H582, adulteress, Each, every, female, many, none, one, together, wife, woman, often unexpressed in English. So what does this say? Adulteress, right? So we know that these two women are not angels. These are not female angels carrying this wicked religious system. So it says adulteress, right? So let's go define what a adulteress is. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. And it says, and the man that commits adultery with another man's wife, even he that commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Now let's go into the Strongs and look at this adulteress, right? So it's H5003. So let's look at the Briggs definition. And it says to commit adultery. To commit adultery, usually of man, always with wife or another, adultery of woman. It says idolatrous worship. When we look at the definition of the word idolatrous, right, it says connected with the practice of worshiping statues as gods. So these two women are not angels. These two women are connected with the practice of worshiping statues as gods. These two women are idolatrous, right? So these two women are actually in cahoots with this Ephah. These two women are not something good, right? Because it literally tells you that an adulteress is somebody that's connected with the practice of worshiping statues as gods. So these two women that's lifting up the Ephah, right? These two women are enabling the Ephah. These two women are in cahoots with the Ephah. So I'm gonna let you guys know this from the gates, that these two women are not the children of Israel. They are not the northern kingdom. They are not the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. These two women are actually two end time figures that are gonna pop up at the end. These are not the children of Israel. These are not the only people that God called an harlot in the Bible. God called Nivea a harlot. God called Tyre a harlot. Let's get the next verse. Let's get James chapter 4, verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. So let's go into the Strong's number for adulteresses, G3428. And it says figuratively equivalent to faithless to God, unclean, apostate. So it means to be faithless to God. It means unclean. I want y'all to remember that. An apostate. So we know in the New Testament, adulteresses means to be faithless to God, unclean, apostate, right? These two women are faithless to God. And it says another thing, that they're unclean. So when we go look at Leviticus 11, verse 13 to 19, it says, and these are they which ye shall have in an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the ostrich, the osprey, and the stork, the heron after her kind, and the lapwing in the back. So we know that a stork, according to the Leviticus law, is unclean. But then the definition we just read in James 4:4, it says to be faithless to God, unclean. So being unclean is a representation of being faithless to God. So these two women that are enabling this Ephah with the wicked woman in it, which this wicked woman represents for a wicked religious system, these two women that's lifting it up, right? They have stork wings. The stork is unclean. Adulteress means to be faithless to God and unclean. Let's get the next verse. Let's get Zechariah chapter 5, verse 10 through 11. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, whether do these bear the Ephah? And he said unto him, to build it a house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. It says that these two women, they are building a house for the Ephah to be worshipped. So what kind of house are they going to build for it? For this woman in the Ephah? A temple. Because if you look at the Good News Translation Bible, it tells you that they're going to build it a temple. And if you look into the Strong's Concordance at that house that's in this verse, you can see the word temple. So these two women are going to build a temple in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established. Well, who's going to establish it? The two women. Where in the Bible do you see an angel establishing something for somebody that's evil? These two women are evil, right? They worship idols. And this woman in the Ephah is going to have her own place of worship in the land of Shinar. Now, what's crazy about this prophecy, this is during the time of the Persian Empire. So the Babylonian Empire had already failed at this time. So Zechariah seen a future evil religious practice that was going to be set up in the land of Shinar, right? And it was going to be two women who were going to establish this. So these two women are not angels. These two women are actually the Antichrist and the false prophet. These two are going to set up this evil practice in the land of Shinar. What significance does the land of Shinar hold? Right? Let's get Genesis chapter 10, verse 8 through 10. And Cush begot Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth, and he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. So the land of Shinar is the original territory of King Nimrod, the mighty hunter. Let's get the next verse. Let's get Genesis 11, verse 1 through 2. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. So we know this is the chapter where they built the Tower of Babel. So where was the Tower of Babel founded? In the land of Shinar. So when we see Zechariah chapter 5, it's telling us, right, that there's going to be a future Babylonian religion that's going to be set up in the land of Shinar. And who's going to set it up? Who's going to establish it? The Antichrist and the false prophet, which is in Zechariah chapter 5, as two women with stork wings. Storks are unclean. This woman that's in this Ephah, she's a harlot, not the harlot of Revelations. We're talking about the religion that the Antichrist and the false prophet is going to bring. So Mystery Babylon is not the main harlot. The main harlot that the world is going to be introduced to, the woman in the Ephah, right, is talking about the religion and the system of the beast. And this system is going to be established in the land of Shinar during our time. So the Bible is going back to the original country where evil started at, and that's in the land of Shinar. But what's the land of Shinar today? Iraq and Iran. So let's get the last verse. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11 and 12, and then we go jump over and read verse 14 and 15. It said, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This beast that comes up out of the earth, it said it had two horns, right? These two horns represent for the false prophet and the Antichrist. And it says he's exercised all the power of the first beast before him to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. So whoever the first beast is, he is the one with the deadly wound. So verse 14 tells us the power that this beast is going to exercise. It's saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. So who set up an image and made people worship the image? And if they did not worship this image, they were going to get killed. Who in the Bible did that? Let's get Daniel chapter 3, We go read verse 1. We go jump down and read verse 4, 5, and 6. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then the herald cried out, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And whoso falls not down and worships shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. This is the power that the fourth beast is going to exercise. In Revelation 13, it said the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. This first beast is talking about Babylon. This king is going to exercise the same power that Nebuchadnezzar exercised by setting up a statue and making the whole world worship it. So the deadly wound is Babylon. It's not the Roman Empire. He's going to exercise the power of the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Basically Babylon. He's going to revive the city of Babylon, because each king in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, Babylon was included into that territory. So the fourth beast, right, he has to rule over Babylon. If you put up a map and look at all the territories of the first three beasts, they all ruled the same territory. So the fourth beast has to rule the same territory. Now, what does this have to do with the woman in the Ephah? This literally proves that Babylon will be revived, just like in Zechariah chapter 5 says these two women, which are these two horns on this lamb. In Revelation chapter 13, they're going to establish and build a temple dedicated to that woman in the Ephah. And what is the woman in the Ephah? This image that's going to walk and talk and speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's what's inside the Ephah. I'm Brother Josiah here with the Watchman 144, and we just finished the study, the woman in the Ephah. I hope you guys were edified. Godspeed, and I hope to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.